Another alert to tell you about now, because in addition to those leaked docs, the Pentagon announcing the transfer today of an ISIS leader to the Iraqi government. U.S. Special Forces captured him in a raid last month in northern Iraq. He's apparently the terror group's top commander in charge of chemical weapons. Well, reportedly, he told our intel officials the terror group planned to use mustard gas on our allies in the region. So in light of all this, which of the Republican presidential candidates has the best plan to take on ISIS at home and abroad? Let's bring in for some real talk retired Marine Staff Sergeant Joey Jones. He's a Marco Rubio supporter. Retired Navy Captain Jerry Hendricks. He supports Ted Cruz for president. And retired Air Force Colonel Tom Moe. He supports John Kasich. It's also important to note that we tried vigorously to get a veteran supporting the Trump campaign. They are out there, but neither we nor the campaign could get somebody who could fit it in their schedule today. So we have the three of you, gentlemen. Thank you for being here on The Real Story. Joey, let me start with you. I know that we have a picture of you at a Rubio event. You are a supporter of him. What is it about him that you think will help to combat ISIS the best?
Well, first and foremost, my decision to support Senator Rubio largely came in his support for Veterans Affairs issues. However, when you look at the three frontrunners right now, Senator Rubio obviously included, he's the only one that's continually funded National Defense Authorization Act. He also sits on foreign affairs and intelligence committees. He has that information. He's traveled to the Middle East, and he showed a clear vision for what we need to do beyond carpet bombing or let's all get along. Okay,
Captain Hendricks, I know that you're a supporter of Senator Ted Cruz. I'm going to give you the same question with regard to ISIS. What is it about Cruz that makes you comfortable that he will be able to eliminate them?
Well, Senator Cruz plays on the strengths of the American military. He targets ISIS with the use of overwhelming American air power and the use of precision strike weapons. These are the things that we have advantages in. And he also seeks to reach out to America's traditional allies in the region, Jordan, Egypt, Israel, as well as the Kurds in northern Iraq, and seeks to fund them with more weapons and give them most up-to-date training and the weapons so that they can take on Kurds in that local environment. One of the things to understand is a lot of the resentment against the United States in the area falls along cultural and religious lines. We need to empower the enemies, the natural enemies of ISIS in the region, and that's what Senator Cruz is after.
Colonel Moe, I know that you have been campaigning and you support John Kasich. Of course, he's from Ohio, and that primary is coming up, as is Rubio in Florida. Do you agree with any of what your colleagues have just said, or what is it about Kasich that you think will help to eradicate ISIS?
Well, thank you, Gretchen. It's great to be here today. And I also want to start by thanking my two colleagues for their service, especially Joey's great sacrifice for his country when he lost his legs in Afghanistan. I think one of the most important things to stress about Governor Kasich is that much of what he talks about is not theory. He spent 18 years in Washington in Congress on the Senate, on the House Armed Services Committee. He worked very closely with the Reagan administration on security issues, and he's been governor of the state, not only working issues with the National Guard, who have served overseas, but also with our veterans. And he has come on very early in regard to the fight against ISIS, that we need to go in strong, but as has been said already, and I do agree, that we need to have a good, effective alliance. We need to go in on the ground, we need to go in on the air, we need to have a no-fly zone. And I think most important is that we need to look for the future and know why we are involved, and that we're not involved because we're going to go in and conduct some sort of nation building, or that we're going to stick around for 50 years with troops.
Okay.
Well, we want to finish the job and then let the folks in the region take care of it.
Yeah. I hear all three of you. Okay. Another really, really important question for veterans, and quite frankly for every American, is something that Joey Jones touched on at the beginning of his first answer, which is, which candidate has the best plan to fix the troubled Department of Veterans Affairs, including the health care system and the bureaucracy and the fact that veterans have died waiting for care? Staff Sergeant Joey Jones, let me go back to you. Why is Marco Rubio the best to fix the VA?
Well, it's obvious. He not only drafted legislation to allow the VA to fire bad actors and ill administrators, but also was brought into a committee to ensure that when the Accountability Act was passed, that piece was in that legislation. Chairman Jeff Miller is probably our strongest ally in the House, and he personally has a relationship with Senator Rubio, has endorsed him, and sees him as an advocate for our veterans. Hey, listen, yeah, I lost my legs, and I'm having to go find private health care just so I don't have to drive 50, 100 miles, wait 3 hours for someone to tell me my appointment was messed up. That's a big part of taking care of us, and that's something that Senator Rubio has promised to pursue as president.
Okay, Captain Hendricks, why do you think Ted Cruz would do a better job?
Well, I think he picks up on something that Sergeant Jones, Staff Sergeant Jones just mentioned there, which is, you know, if you want to find out what's wrong with the Affordable Care Act or where we're going with Obamacare, you look at the size of the bureaucracy in the Veterans Administration right now, and you'll see where we'll all end up.
Right.
It is overburdened with bureaucracy. We wasted $1.1 billion on one hospital in Denver, and it seems to be out of control. Senator Cruz suggests that we need to essentially allow our veterans to be able to reach out to the private doctors, choose the doctor of their own, give them a benefit, allow them to have portability, go out and find somebody that's local, that's good, that's someone they can trust,
right,
rather than be burdened by this very large, overwhelming bureaucracy.
Right, so privatize it is what you're saying. I want to make sure that I get in Colonel Moe because I want to be fair and balanced here. So Colonel Moe, you're picking Kasich. He's been in government. He's been part of the bureaucracy, but is that, you don't see that that is not a disadvantage for him?
Well, the experience he has been able to actually carry out the things that he wants to do. And I don't find any difference with the comments that have been made. Yes, we need to do many things, particularly bring a lot of the strength of veteran services back to the state. And I've worked with the governor as his director of state veteran services to do just those sort of things. One of the biggest problems we have is transitioning to become a veteran from the armed forces. And so we've worked with the Pentagon, we've worked with the VA, we've got jobs for veterans that we know we line up before they even separate from the service.
Great idea.
And so we've actually walked the walk with these veterans, and we're proud of what we've done. And he'll just continue that in Washington.
All right, Staff Sergeant Jones, Captain Hendricks, Colonel Moe, thank you so much for your service and your thoughts today.